We're out here for our first official kickoff with our partners HelloFresh, Second Helpings Atlanta, and Pratt Industries as we kick off their Meals with Meaning program. Their HelloFresh nationally is going to give away over 60,000 meals a month. Here in Atlanta, we're going to be doing 800 meal kits a week. Now that ends up being about 8,000 meals because there are 2 meals for a family of 4 in each kit. So every Wednesday for the next calendar year, we're going to be distributing food to folks who need it. So folks who are in a food desert, if you've been adversely affected by COVID-19, if you're struggling to feed your family, or if you just need some additional help this week, come by. We'll make sure that you get a meal and make sure that we help ameliorate some of those problems in your home.
Today we're here in Northwest Atlanta to say goodbye to this old eyesore that has been plaguing this community for over a decade. Sierra Ridge was a drug haven, drug-infested parcel of land right here at 3202 Delmar Lane. So community members gathered here today because this is the beginning of the rehabilitation and renovation of Sierra Ridge. Over 10 years ago, there were over 300 code enforcement violations, over 300 calls to 911, and we knew that we had to do something about it. It is very important that they have a safe, sanitary environment. We will be working with the owners of this property and the developers to make sure that the quality of life for all residents exists in Northwest Atlanta.
Today, this is a service project in the Bush Mountain community, and we are on the Atlanta Black Crackers practice field, and sometimes they played ball on this field. So they were professional ball players. Many of them went to the major leagues, from right here in the Bush Mountain community. We're refurbishing the ball field here. We've had the family of 2 of the 3 Atlanta Black Crackers that I honored today here. So we had a large group of family members from Charles Ingram and from Preston Ingram. They were just great ball players. It's just so much history here in this city, not only in the district that I represent, but throughout the city of Atlanta. This is just a great opportunity for us to celebrate bygone years, but to remember those that came before us.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson.
The Food and Drug Administration grants full approval to the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccination for those aged 16 and up. Officials believe it will kick off a number of vaccine requirements from many businesses and organizations. The Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife Jacqueline are hospitalized after contracting COVID-19. They are now both being treated at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago and are said to be resting comfortably. Jackson received the Pfizer vaccine back in January. COVID cases continue to rise in the state of Georgia. Georgia's Department of Public Health is showing that there are over 2,700 ICU beds in use. That represents 90.1% of Georgia's capacity. Governor Brian Kemp signs an executive order granting businesses the authority not to comply with local mask or vaccine mandates. This week, the state of Georgia reported more than 7,000 COVID cases and 46 deaths. In a recent statement citing a dramatic increase in hospitalizations, Cobb County declares a state of emergency. The declaration allows resources to be distributed to area hospitals, state agencies, or those with a need for supplies or equipment, and it will be in effect for 30 days. Cobb County has reinstated its mask requirement for entry to all of its county government facilities, but Cobb's school district plans to keep masks optional. If you're planning on attending DragonCon, there are updated guidelines. Attendees will need to provide proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID-19 test. Additionally, masks will be required.
It's always been a great community. It's still a great community because it's populated by great people in the community who love Atlanta. This is National Night Out, and we're pleased to be here in the Collier Heights, historic Collier Heights community. So we've got representatives from all of our public safety agencies here, APD, AFRD, the court system are here at this time, and we're having a cookout, but it's bigger than that. We are reclaiming the streets for the community, from the criminals. You know, you can't terrorize us anymore. You can't victimize us anymore.
We have to be intentional about rebuilding relationship between community and our police. And I think it's not just about building the relationship, but reinstilling trust back in our communities. And especially at a time where crime is at its highest we've seen in this nation, I think it's even more important that we're working collaboratively with our local police officers and our community members to help mitigate the continued rise in crime.
Anytime that a community comes together, it builds a stronger city. When neighbors talk to each other, when they talk to their elected officials, and they talk to their firefighters and police officers, it makes for a really strong community, and that's what we want to see across the city. So tonight is proof of that all of our neighborhoods are strong and vibrant, and together we can make our city safe.
It's an opportunity for them to get close up to the residents and just really show that they're human beings. You know, police officers are human beings just like anybody else. They've got feelings, and so the police love doing this. This is their time where they get an opportunity to really come together and don't have to write reports and can really talk on the same level as the citizens.
Thank you all so much.
At the heart of National Night Out, safer and stronger communities happen when we're connected. And for 17 years, Midtown Neighborhood Association has been hosting this event. Even the rain didn't keep people away. I think it speaks to the sense of community here that exists. The city's going through a challenging time right now, and connectedness and community is even more important than it has been over the last several years.
We are here because we are very encouraged, and we want our neighbors to do Citizens on Patrol, look out for one another during this crime wave here in Northwest Atlanta.
And when we talk about crime, it's more than just our police officers who, of course, put their lives on the line every day and night for us, but we have to have strong communities and strong community policing where the people know the officers and the officers know the people in the communities, and we can work together to drive out crime from our neighborhoods.
I just got through with a conversation with the Atlanta Police Department in the community, asking questions about crime and how we can make a difference. And I'm very excited about the enthusiasm from the neighborhood folks.
You see something, you what? Say something. We need to fight this crime. That's why I'm glad to see these officers out here.
This is the neighborhood that I live in, and these beautiful homes have beautiful neighbors, and they're all here to talk about public safety and to see each other. Always remember to be safe and to look out for your fellow man and take care of your police officers as they take care of us.
Historic Collier Heights neighborhood happens to be my neighborhood, and so this is always my last best stop. The rain didn't stop them. They're out here to fellowship, to meet their neighbors, to have fun with their neighbors, but also to keep cognizant and remember about public safety. Our fire department and police department always come out so the community can say thank you to them for all the great work that they do.
We are here at Greenbrier Mall for our Community Wellness and Empower Day. And what that means is we're giving out vaccine shots. Walgreens is here. Wellness is everything. We know that right now everyone needs to be vaccinated. The COVID vaccination is here. When we're talking about empower, we have resources here for not just children, but for the adults. We have fresh produce because the Fulton County, partnered up with Chairman Pitts, and so the Fulton County is here with their fresh produce truck. The library is here, Fulton County Library. Those resources are here. Children are loving that I am giving out book bags. Our city solicitor donated book bags. We have another restaurant around here, Area 4, they've donated book bags, and my office has donated hundreds of book bags. And these book bags are full. We have a lot going on because District 11 is really getting ready to be empowered and well, and that's what today is about.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Transportation Committee here for the Atlanta City Council. My name is Andre Dickens. I have the honor of serving as your chairman for the Transportation Committee. I hereby bring this meeting to order. Ms. Pulandini, if you could do a roll call vote.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Antonio Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Faroki.
Here.
Councilmember Ives. Here. Councilmember Maskey.
Here.
Councilmember Overstreet.
Present.
Councilmember Westmoreland. Mr. Chair, we have 6 members present.
All right, thank you. Thank you, members, for being here. All right, now I will have Ms. Pulandini read the remote meeting statement.
This Transportation Committee meeting is being conducted remotely as advertised and as in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which was noted on the August 20, 2021 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantagA.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council Transportation Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available on August 20, 2021 via atlantacitygA.iqm2.com. In addition, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6059 between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. the day before this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to the committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right, thank you. All right, now I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second, Matt.
Okay.
Second, Matt.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Masakai. Let's go to let's vote on the adoption of the agenda.
The vote is open.
Overstreet, affirmative. Working on my connection.
Brown, the yes.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
All right, now I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Vote is open.
All right, all the voice voters just chime in.
Overstreet, affirmative.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. The minutes have been approved.
Okay, now we will go to the public comment. I think we have about 7 minutes of public comment. So could you play them, please?
I want to comment about a recent increasing of the parking citation fees. I'm very unhappy about that. I'm very unhappy about the general extortion racket that you have in municipal court as a revenue generator to the city. This racket's been going on for quite some time. This ordinance trebles the amount of parking citation fees levied against unsuspecting residents and visitors to the city. because there's no notice, no signage, no red curbs to tell people that should they park there, they're at risk of paying at least $75 and maybe as much as $1,000. That's absolutely unfair without notice. There's a simple fix to it. Actually, two simple fixes to it. One is you can repeal, which I don't think you're going to do. The other is you could get the Department of Transportation commissioner lots of red paint to mark the curbs. It's only fair and right if you're going to keep the $75 minimum fees. I have other things to say, but I'm absolutely livid about this, about how y'all are preying on unsuspecting people. And yes, I've seen the forums that the judges fill out about how much money they bring into the city. It's a source of revenue. And again, I would assume that most of you, if not all of you, already know that. Please revisit this issue. And this is Steve Carr, and I'm calling from 678-886-8666.
Greetings, committee members and staff, and special greetings to you citizens and voters of Atlanta monitoring our government in action this election year. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. If the NPUR-9 has some concern for the residents of Neighborhood Planning Unit R and Southwest Atlanta, then the NPUR-9 would ensure that Neighborhood Planning Unit R has a transportation committee. That NPUR Transportation Committee could then work with the Atlanta Planning Advisory Board Transportation Committee and the transportation committees and other neighborhood planning units. Working together, they could work wonders in the areas of transportation. Those potholes on the Low Boulevard south of the Adams Park to the city of East Point border could disappear. Those dirt paths along Campbellton Road could be turned into actual sidewalks so people won't have to be walking in mud or stepping into the street so they won't be walking in mud. Will residents of Neighborhood Planning Unit R ever be able to have detailed discussions about transportation matters? No, because the NPUR-9 does not allow and has never allowed an NPUR Transportation Committee. That would mean there would be one more committee that the NPUR-9 would have to control and try to keep in check. By having no transportation committee, the NPUR-9 stifles any and all conversations about how senior citizens and disabled could get to NPUR meetings once we all get beyond this pandemic. The fewer senior citizens and residents who attend NPUR meetings, the fewer senior citizens and residents and disabled people the NPUR-9 would have to try to control. Promote citizen participation rather than stifle it. Antonita Robinson, Paulus Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Lynette L. Scott, Alvin White, Allison Hathaway, Cheryl Brown, and you, NPUR cohort.
This is Colleen Brown of NPUS, and I'm talking about the intersection at Westmont, Avon, and Orlando. What does it take for the community to be heard and respected for its concern for the safety of its residents? A month ago, the Southwest Atlanta communities traversing the Avon, Westmont, Orlando intersection spoke adamantly against the removal of the traffic signal at the Avon intersection. However, we are told that it's continuing to, with the Department of Transportation, to spend taxpayer dollars, time, and money of the totally unfounded removal project, beginning with 2 months of trial, to turn it into a 4 or 5-way stop. The community fought hard to get the traffic signal there, and there has been no change decreasing the need for it, or any reasonable explanation given for why it needs to be played with for transformation. What does it take for the community to be given solid reason for making such an egregious and hazardous change without first considering more appropriate modifications to maintain the safety of cyclists, pedestrians, buses, and vehicles at the Avon-Westmont Orlando intersection? Please do not remove the signal without first appropriate changes. Thank you. And that concludes our public comments.
Thank you all for those public comments. They have been read into the record and will be under consideration as we go through our legislative agenda for today and also our department purview. All right, now we move on to section D, which is a public hearing item. Ms. Pulandini, will you walk us through this?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if you would like to make a motion to open the public hearing, I will read in the caption and we can continue.
I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Let's prepare a vote on the public hearing.
The vote is open.
Is anyone voice voting?
Overstreet, affirmative.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. The public hearing is now open. Ordinance 21-0-0632, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to abandon portions of North Yards Boulevard consisting of approximately 0.7194 acres, being more specifically described in the attached Exhibit A, lying and being in land lot 82 of the 14th District of Walton County, Georgia, to VLP4 LLC for purchase at fair market value, authorizing the mayor or designee to execute quitclaim deeds of the abandonment to VLP4 LLC and for the purposes. And we did not receive any comments for this public hearing item, so the public hearing can now be closed.
Okay, I make a motion that we close it. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Overstreet, affirmative.
Okay, we have Overstreet as an affirmative.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 68 nays. The public hearing is now closed.
Okay. Now we can move on to our consent agenda item for first read.
Actually, Mr. Chair, we do need to take up this item for a vote. The department has requested that it be held so that it can be amended at a later date so that certain details in the legislation can be updated.
Okay. All right. I make a motion that we hold this item. Is there a second? Second, Brown.
The vote is open.
Overstreet, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item will be held.
Okay. Now we can move to the consent agenda.
Item number 2, 21-0-0678, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or designee to amend the following 4 architectural and engineering design services contracts: FC-73838, Arcadis CPA, a joint venture of Arcadis GNM Inc. and Brindley Peters 7 Associates Inc. FC-73833B, Atlanta Services Group 3, a joint venture of Jacobs Project Management SL King and Associates and Engineering Design Technologies, FC-7383C, CGR2, a joint venture of Black and Beach Corporation, River to Tap Inc., and Gresham Smith and Partners, FC-7383S, CV Benchmark JV, a joint venture of Parsons Blinkerhoff and Benchmark Management, to extend the terms of each of the contracts on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 6 months on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation and in accordance with Section 2-1163, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes. Item number 3, 21-0-0679, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to amend Chapter 150, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Division 5, Vine City Parking Permit of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to update certain provisions related to property and street name changes and for other purposes. Item number 4, 21-0-0680, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2022 Airport Renewal and Extension Fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations grant funds in the amount of $11,202,321.00 from the Federal Aviation Administration for grant agreement listed for the construct taxiway and around runway 9L Phase 3 project and for other purposes. And item number 5, 21-0-0681, an ordinance for Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor, her designee, to execute a 5-year renewal of the airport use and lease agreement with certain short-term signatory airlines for operations at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Okay, we will accept all of those items on the consent agenda if there are no other, if there's no opposition to that. And now we move forward.
Item number 6, 21-0-0631, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor, her designee, to retroactively ratify amendments numbers 2 through 6 of the Wireless Network Master Agreement with Verizon Wireless LLC, doing business as Verizon Wireless, and to enter into an amendment number 7 to extend the term from October 31st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023, that also expands the distributed antenna system network to cover additional areas, all in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C, Article 10 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for the purposes.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Please, will the general manager, Biadori, please respond to this item?
Good morning. Okay, very good. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, City Council Member B. Biadori, General Manager, Atlanta Airport. This is, we're doing some house cleaning here. A number of amendments was implemented over the years that were signed by the airport general manager. We're catching up on some paperwork. These amendments should have gone through the legislative process for approval and not unilaterally approved only by the general manager. As a matter of fact, this has no impact to the operating budget and no impact to our concession revenue that we collected from the carriers. We're asking to extend the current master agreement until April of 2023, allowing us enough time to continue our negotiation for a new master agreement lease. A few weeks ago, we did have legislative approval to upgrade the existing antiquated DAS, distributed antenna system, both indoors and also extend the system outdoors. So with this additional amendment number 7, extending the term from October 31st, 2022 through April 2023, will allow us to have a new master agreement in place with the wireless carriers here at the airport.
All right. I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second,
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to ask a question, if I could.
Sure.
I just wanted to understand what caused the delay in being able to negotiate a master agreement without requiring an extension to be able to do so? Like, what caused this to be so prolonged in being able?
Well, the existing master agreement we have was adequate to provide the level of wireless service here at the airport. However, in the last couple of years, the wireless carriers, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, have decided that they want to do an entire upgrade of their system, and that's negotiation between the wireless companies and the Department of Aviation as to the type of system, the location, the area of coverage, developing that entire scope in agreement with the wireless carriers that the team have been working on in the last couple of years. So we finally have came to an agreement with the wireless carriers, and now we're in a position to complete a new master agreement with the additional carriers that will take us into the next decade.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, great. We've done the motion in second, I think. Oh, who was the second?
One moment, please. Councilmember Overstreet was the second, so we can open the vote now.
Okay.
And the vote is open. The vote is closed. 68 nays. This item is favorable.
Okay. Let's go to the next series of items that we'll take as a block.
Okay, we'll take items 7 to 8, 11 to 12, and 14 to 16 as a block. Item number 7, 21-0-0641, an ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Parsons Street Southwest and Walnut Street Southwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for the purposes. Item number 8, 21-0-0642, an ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Oak Street Southwest and West End Place Southwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for the purposes. Item number 11, 21-0-0645, an ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersections of Beecher Street Southwest and People Street Southwest and Beecher Street Southwest and Azalea Street Southwest always stop-controlled intersections. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at those intersections and for the purposes. Item number 12, 21-0-0655, an ordinance by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Fairburn Road Southwest and Village Park Lane Southwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for the purposes. Item number 14, 21-0-0657, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Massacite authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Powers Ferry at Tuxedo Road Northwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at that intersection and for the purposes. Item number 15, 21-0-0658, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Massacite authorizing the mayor her designee to make the intersection of Blackland Road at Blackland Drive South Northwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at that intersection and for the purposes. And item number 16, 21-0-0659, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Massacite authorizing the mayor or designee to make the intersection of Blackland Road and Tuxedo Road West Northwest always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at said intersection and for the purposes.
Okay. Unless council members need an explanation for these various stop sign installations, I will make a motion to approve all of them.
Second, Matsakite.
Okay. Seconded by Matsakite. Seeing no comments or questions from council members, we can proceed with the vote.
The vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. How about you, Ms. Overstreet? Are you logged in? Okay.
I'm logged in and voted affirmative.
Okay, great.
And the vote is now closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are all favorable.
All right, great. Let's move on to the next block.
Okay, items 9 and 10. The sponsor has requested that these be held. If the committee would like to take these two as a block.
Yes, please take another block.
Okay, item number 9, 21-0-0643. An ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow authorizing the mayor, her designee, to make the intersection of Pryor Street Southwest and Bass Street Southwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes. And item number 10, 21-0-0644, an ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow authorizing the mayor, her designee, to make the intersection of Pryor Road Southwest and Fair Drive Southwest an always stop-controlled intersection. To authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
All right, I make a motion to hold. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Okay.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items will be held.
Okay, let's move on.
Item number 13, 21-0-0656, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone authorizing the mayor or her designee to waive Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and to install traffic calming devices on Brownlee Road Southwest at 465 Brownlee Road Southwest to Benjamin E. Mays Drive Southwest and for other purposes.
All right, Ms. Alexander Cotina, will you please update us on this item?
Cotina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. The purpose of this legislation is to install traffic control devices along Brownlee Road in Councilmember Andrea Boone's district. The legislation waives the code section that allows a petition that requires a petition to be signed by 75% of the property owners, as we've had difficulties meeting the required signatures. We have studied this location and reviewed the petition, and we're okay with moving the legislation forward.
Can you describe what type of traffic calming device will be preferred?
They're going to be speed tables, the flat top speed tables. So, of course, It will not be, the funding for FY22 has already been allocated for the entire fiscal year. So this location will go on a list for additional funding that may be identified this fiscal year or the next fiscal year's funding.
Okay. Separate question. When they create speed tables, do they automatically fill potholes in the general area or level off anything else?
No, they do not. Speed tables are installed by a contractor who's only contracted to install the speed tables. So no, we don't fill potholes. We can start to review the streets prior to them being installed, prior to the speed tables being installed, to ensure that potholes have been filled before the tables go in.
Yeah, I'm just thinking here about the community's response to traffic improvement, traffic calming and any kind of infrastructure on their road. And I would imagine that even though it's a contractor that's doing the speed table installation, there's somebody from Atlanta DOT that goes out there and does an assessment prior to installation. And of course, we don't know when this is going to happen, right? This is not even funded, so this could be 6 months from now. But, maybe my recommendation is once we are at the point for any of the FY22 projects that, within some reasonable area of any kind of investment or installation, that we just do a first assessment. It doesn't require citizens saying 311. It just requires us. We're going to drive this road, this half mile road or whatever, look at it, we identify 3 or 4 potholes, identify some litter or overhanging brush. I don't know, maybe I know it's hard to coordinate everything, but for sure, filling potholes don't take that much time. So maybe, do you foresee a mechanism to do that, a process to do that?
Sure, that's not a problem. The engineer can just go out and take a peek at it right before we schedule it with the contractor. So that's not going to be a burden. We can definitely do that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know if council members think that's a good idea, but, it'll make people feel good, make them feel good. Going over a speed table right into a pothole ain't cool either. So I think let's look at doing that and maybe making that a standard operating procedure, some sort of ongoing activity that you do. Okay, thank you. All right, let's pull the let's move on to the. Oh, did we vote? Did we vote already?
No, Mr. Chair, we still need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm making a motion to approve. Okay, seconded by Brown.
And Mr. Dickens, I have my speaker button pushed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I turned to the side and didn't see it. Ms. Hyde?
Can I just make a request from the DOT and Ms. Alexander's office that we get a report before our next meeting on how the traffic calming money that council has done in the last 2 budgets has been allocated, because I think a lot of us have projects that we have either made a request through the usual course of things or have legislated, and I don't have a lot of clarity on which projects have been approved for funding and which ones haven't. So I would like to see that list of, how that money allocated by council has been allocated.
Sure, that's not a problem. We'll have a report together for you before next council meeting.
Okay.
Next committee meeting, I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That would be great.
If you could put the address on there and the council district on there, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Not a problem.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Hyde. That is a good request. All right. How are we voting?
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item is favorable.
Okay, let's move to the next.
Next item is number 1721-0-0665, an ordinance by Councilmember Amira Froki authorizing the restoration of two-way operations to Walton Street Northwest between Centennial and Olympic Park Drive Northwest and Peachtree Street Northwest, the restoration of two-way operations to Pine Street Northeast between Peachtree Street Northeast and Cortlandt Street Northeast, and for other purposes.
Okay, Ms. Alexander.
Fatima Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. The purpose of this legislation is to convert Walton Street between Centennial Park and Peachtree Street and Pine Street between Peachtree Street and Cortlandt Street back from a one-way conversion to a two-way conversion. Of note, the legislation provides that everything is approved and oversaw by the Department of Transportation. And we also need to make note that a public engagement session would be needed before any of the operations have been concluded. And so we have studied this location. We will review the plans and be very involved in the whole conversion of from one-way to two-way, and we're okay with moving the legislation forward.
Ms. Alexander, have you guys consulted from your preliminary review Central Atlanta Progress and ADID and the other downtown stakeholders?
We have not, which is why I said a public engagement session would be needed so that we can engage all of the affected stakeholders, business owners, and any residents and property owners that may exist along those two corridors.
Okay, and so do we normally approve the legislation prior to that process?
If I could.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Faroki.
Yeah, so CIP and ADID are fully supportive of this. In fact, I'd work with them on it, so they've been fully on board. I'm sure they're happy to participate in any additional public review of it, but they are supportive.
Okay.
And eager to see this happen.
Okay. And Mr. Chair, this is Councilmember Cleta Winslow. I know this issue came up several years ago. Is this the same issue of the two-way?
This is not Baker Street, Ms. Winslow. That was a different.
Oh, this is not Baker Street. Okay, all right. I apologize.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Faroki. All right, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Faroki.
Vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item is favorable.
Great. Let's go to the next one.
Item number 18, 21-0-0666. An ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow to amend Chapter 150, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Division 6, Turner Field Permit Parking of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to update certain provisions related to the Turner Field name change, to expand the boundaries of the parking program to include the Mechanicsville neighborhood and for other purposes.
Okay. Is this Ms. Alexander as well?
No, this is coming out of our planning section.
Okay.
So it's probably Commissioner Rowan.
Is Commissioner Rowan available?
Mr. Chair, good morning. This is Stephanie Grant with the Law Department.
Okay.
I'm happy to take it, sir.
Okay.
This was a personal paper on behalf of Councilmember Winslow. This ordinance authorizes the amendment of the Atlanta City Code, Chapter 150, Division 6. It acknowledges that Turner Field, which was previously indicated in the code as a residential parking permit program subset, is now owned by Georgia State University and serves as a multi-purpose stadium. It provides historical context regarding the Mechanicsville neighborhood previously opting out of the parking program, but due to development in the area, there's a need to reinsert the Mechanicsville neighborhood into the parking program. Currently, the permit parking program only affects Summerhill, so Ms. Winslow wants to now add Mechanicsville. It amends the existing area of influence for the parking program to expand beyond Summerhill and now includes the streets that are identified in the Mechanicsville area. And it is in keeping with the former Turner Field enforcement times. Residential permit parking in this area is in effect 2 hours prior, during, and 2 hours after any event at the stadium. And it establishes penalties for violating those residential permit parking rules, setting a minimum fine of $75, in keeping with the revisions that were made in the previous cycle regarding parking fines, and noting that the municipal court still has the authority to increase the fine up to $1,000, and it authorized the ATL-DOT to install appropriate parking signs within 30 days of the effective date of the ordinance. And that's it.
Okay, and Mr. Rowan is muted, everyone. So if you could, who's controlling the audio and the call-in, please unmute him. He texted me saying he's muted. Mr. Rowan, can you try again? Speak.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can. Okay. You want to add to what Law said?
Attorney Grant did such a good job. I have nothing more to add other than just to say it's getting into the finer points of parking regulation, which, when we have hundreds of thousands of automobiles coming into the city, it becomes a challenge. It's not just the residents, but it's the region that converges upon the city of Atlanta. And so just, support this legislation as it moves towards better parking management.
Okay, sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Okay. Council members, if you do need to speak, I have fallen off login, so just voice speak if you do. Okay, we have a second by Brown. Let's vote.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item is favorable.
Okay, let's go on to our next item.
Item number 19, 21-0-0667, an ordinance by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet to amend ordinance 21-0-0430, which amended the 2015 municipal facilities bond to transfer $300,000 from the District 11 Renew Atlanta bond for the purpose of making ADA improvements at the Cascade Springs Nature Preserve and for other purposes. And there's an amendment in your packet which updates the funding stream.
Yes, first I'd like to hear from Councilmember Overstreet. This is her district and a great project that she's taken a lot of ownership of and leadership in. Ms. Overstreet?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chair Dickens. Yes, the paper is pretty straightforward, as the funding streams were crisscrossed in the original legislation. So it's the same legislation as maybe a month or so ago. But the funding streams are actually allocated properly here, so it's not to mess up projects on the other funding streams in the same in the categories between vertical and horizontal discretionary funds. So this is a correction, and but still the same importance. The ADA will be addressed, and we are partnering with a grant that we received from Park Pride, and it's just going to work out well with the installation of the Radcliffe Bailey art installation from also a Renew art project. So we want to make sure we get this funding corrected. So thank you. So move to amend.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Overstreet. So now she has a motion to amend, and I will second that to add the funding stream. Let's prepare a vote.
Vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr.
Okay, that's a yes by Brown.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item has been amended.
Okay. Now I'll make Ms. Overstreet, you want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, I'll make a second. Let's vote.
Vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Brown is a yes.
Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Faroki?
Vote is closed. 68-0 nays. This item is favorable as amended.
All right, so that's been approved. Let's move on to our resolution section.
Item number 20 is 21-R-3812, a resolution by Councilmember Andre Dickens requesting the Atlanta Department of Transportation, Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department to assess the streets surrounding all existing and planned senior citizen facilities to determine the need for traffic safety measures and for other purposes.
Yes, I over the past few years, been going to senior places, senior facilities, senior high-rises, senior living facilities, and then, of course, more recently, going a lot. And what you find is a lot of the seniors communicate that it's difficult to cross the street. And I think that's consistent with why we created the Vision Zero, thanks to the leadership of Atlanta DOT and others. But around senior centers, some traffic calming is being requested. They're just like everyone else. They say, let's do a speed table, a speed hump, or something else. And so I wanted to, instead of one by one, each center raising their hands as I go to it, I just said, let's do an assessment across all of them so we have some equity in where we do this, as well as what we do. Speed humps, speed tables may be a good idea at some, but it may not be a good idea at others because the street is too wide. And also I wanted to combine Atlanta Fire Rescue Department before we do any installations of things because, of course, their equipment is impacted when they have a speed table or speed hump. So other things may be longer traffic signalization, traffic crossing, so give seniors in wheelchairs and walking longer time to cross streets. So maybe changing the length of time that signal gives them to cross, or some other things, rumble strips or just more signage. So I would like the department to assess each of the centers and come up with a recommendation. I didn't put a timeline on here because I know they're strapped with so much they need to do, but I think it's worthwhile doing. But I did want to make sure we included fire and rescue, and I didn't think APD, but if you think APD needs to be involved, I know they're busy too, Mr. Rowan, so I just did fire and rescue because they often have issues with the equipment. So I'll let Mr. Rowan speak to this now.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Josh Rowan, Commissioner for Atlanta DOT. Let me hit your last comment first. Already have a planned meeting with APD to talk about reducing speed citywide without the necessity of a blue light or laser certification, which puts us right into the realm of what you're talking about, vertical deflection within the roadways. And so speaking on behalf of our planning and strategy team, what we're looking at is really looking at the city through the lens of where's the highest risk. And I think we would all agree that the senior centers certainly represent high need and high risk. And so we're happy to take this effort. The thing that we also like is to your comment that this really then becomes the basis of a citywide type initiative versus a collection of one-offs, which we believe are proving to be more effective when we address these situations at a more macro scale. And so we had done an effort in the past to look at sidewalks around senior centers, and we still have that work. And so it won't be too big a stretch for us to be looking at safe crossings at these same locations. So just a point of note that what we come up with currently obviously isn't budgeted, but it's a good time to be identifying high need projects, especially in this current environment where it seems that there's a lot of interest in infrastructure funding at a national level. So we support this and happy to take on the effort.
Okay. All right, good. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Overstreet.
All right, second is by Overstreet. Let's prepare a vote. And then I also heard you in the background, Mr. Brown, so we'll record you as affirmative.
Vote is open.
Aye is a yes. I got knocked off of the boardroom.
Okay, thank you.
Vote is closed. 68 nays. This item is favorable.
Okay, go to the next item.
Item number 21-R-3814, a resolution by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone authorizing the mayor or her designee to consent to the voluntary assignment of Jackmont Hospitality, Inc.'s interest under FC-600-400-7847 Restaurant and Bar Concessions Agreement to Atlanta Restaurant Partners, LLC at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes.
All right, B. Biadori. Is he muted? Mr. Biadori.
Sorry, I was just rambling on there, Mr. Chair, and I was on mute. Biadori, Airport General Manager. DOA supports the assignment of Jackmont Hospitality, Inc. to Atlanta Restaurants Partner. Similar assignments were approved in the past as the airport and the concession industry continue to evolve.
Okay, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by. Actually, Mr. Westmoreland is now here. So first we count him in the number of people attending, and then he's made a motion, and I made a motion and he seconded. Let's prepare to vote.
Overstreet, affirmative.
Brown is a yes.
Vote is closed. 78 nays. This item is favorable.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Item number 22, 21-R-3817, a resolution by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study on Beecher Street Southwest between Canolia Drive Southwest and Cascade Avenue Southwest to determine the need for any traffic safety improvements, such as traffic calming devices, reduced speeds, or stop signs, and for other purposes.
Okay, let's hear from Ms. Cotina Alexander.
Cotina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. The purpose of this legislation is to conduct a traffic study on Beecher Street between Kenall Drive and Cascade Avenue Southwest to determine safety improvements such as traffic calming devices, stop signs, or speed tables. Beecher Street is classified as a collector street with a posted speed limit of 30 miles per hour, and we will collect all speed and volume data to find out what safety improvements can be made along the street. We recommend moving the legislation forward.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
Vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Westmoreland in favor.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Let's go to 23.
Item number 23, 21-R-3819, a resolution by Councilmember Amira Froki authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into an agreement with the Atlanta Downtown Improvement District for the installation and maintenance of public art entitled Centennial Park District along the north-facing bridge facade of the Spring Street Connector above Spring Street, Atlanta Georgia 30308, as pursuant to Code Section 16-28.025 of the 1982 zoning ordinance of the City of Atlanta and for the purposes. And there's a substitute in your packet which modifies the operative clauses of the legislation.
All right. Mr. Faroki, did you want to speak to this?
Not really. I mean, this is really an installation of art through the ADID and CAP will help install. So, motion to approve. So I suppose we have to vote on the substitute first?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I will move to approve the substitute.
Second. Let's take a vote on the substitute.
Vote is open.
Brown is a yes.
Westmoreland, yes.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is now before you.
All right, now I move to approve the substitute.
Second. Dickens. Let's vote on the substitute.
The vote is open.
Brown is a yes.
Westmoreland in favor.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable on substitute.
All right, let's go to 24.
Item number 24, 21-R-3820, a resolution by Councilmembers Matt Westmoreland, Andre Dickens, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Andrea L. Boone, and Michael Julian Bond to name Concourse C of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport Honorary Michael R. Hollis Concourse C, and for other purposes.
Mr. Westmoreland.
Yeah, I make a motion to hold while we continue talking with the airport and all other relevant parties about the best way to honor Mr. Hollis and his contributions at Hartsfield-Jackson.
Okay. I second that motion to hold. Let's prepare to vote.
Vote is open.
I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item will be held.
Okay. Next item, 25.
21-R.
No, we already did 25.
Okay, yeah. 21-R-3854, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or designee on behalf of the Department of Transportation to enter into a memorandum of understanding agreement with LLC Retail Acquisitions, LLC, for the purpose of granting consent for LLC Retail and its contractors to install and maintain certain landscaping and sidewalk improvements within the Piedmont Road right-of-way and for other purposes.
All right. Is this Cotino or is this Josh Moore? Let's see.
Mr. Chair, I can take this one. This is standard business for maintaining landscaping in the right-of-way. This is actually a state route, so we enter into a mowing and maintenance agreement with GDOT when a private business wants to further upgrade things. We get GDOT's consent, and then we also essentially delegate the mowing and maintenance to them, and that's what this does.
Okay. Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
Okay.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Items 26 and 27 are both corrective resolutions which correct the funding stream in previously adopted legislation. Would the committee like to take these two as a block?
Yes, please.
Okay. Item number 26, 21-R-3854, a resolution by Transportation Committee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to correct Resolution 18-R-3636, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on June 4, 2018, and approved by operation of law on June 13, 2018, by deleting the incorrect funding source and replacing it with the correct funding source and for the purposes. And item number 27, 21-R-3856, a resolution by Transportation Committee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to correct Resolution 20-R-4751, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on January 4, 2021, and approved by operation of law on January 13, 2021, by deleting the incorrect funding source and replacing it with the correct funding source and for the purposes.
Okay, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Vote is open.
Westmoreland, yes.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. Our next item is number 28, 21-R-3857, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor to apply for, accept, and implement all grant funds and programs from all state and federal agencies and execute documents associated with such grants and for projects at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport during the 2022 federal fiscal year and for other purposes.
General Manager B.B. Adori.
B.B. Adori, Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. This is an annual legal binding obligation to apply for and accept grants in a timely manner. And an example of this is in fiscal year 21, the Carissa and ARPA grants that were awarded to airports. We did not have to come back through legislation to apply for those grants. We were able to apply for those grants in a timely manner. So this is an annual requirement for us. Strongly recommend approval.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
The vote is open.
Westmoreland in favor.
Will everyone please vote? Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 29, 21-R-3858, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or designee to execute an agreement with Atlanta Airlines Terminal Corporation for Concourse T and domestic terminal roofing and fireproofing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport for a cost to the city not to exceed $16,032,495.00 to be charged to and paid from accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
Mr. Theodore.
B.B. Adori. In addition to hail damage, this aging roof has far surpassed its life expectancy. We're having significant problems with the roof at the Concourse T and the domestic terminal, and it's time to move forward with a total replacement of the roof and fireproofing. And thus, we're requesting approval to move forward with this project. AATC will be doing this project since they are the maintainer of the roof, and also they will be responsible for the roof warranty.
Make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Westmoreland in favor.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Items 30 to 32 are all aviation paper supplementing tax fund orders. Does the committee like to take these as a block?
Yes.
Item number 30, 21-R-3859, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a task order fund in an amount not to exceed $150,000.00 for use under contract number SC-8927, airfield markings, on-call contractors with Highlight Airfield Services, LLC, for landside facilities management services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. On a task order basis, all services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 31, 21-R-3860, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a joint task order fund in an amount not to exceed $2.1 million.00 for use under contract for contract number FC-9994A, airside electrical on-call contractor with Brooksbury Haney for services to be performed at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. On a task order basis, all services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And item number 32, 21-R-3861, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a task order fund in an amount not to exceed $200,000.00 for use under contract number FC-9494, landside erosion repair and grafting on-call contractor with Kiewit Infrastructure South Co. at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport for landside erosion repair and grafting services. On a task order basis, all services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
All right, Mr. Diodori.
Abdi Diodori, Airport General Manager. Number 30, this task order, as we're approaching the winter months, we just want to add some more money to rehabilitate our landside roadways marking. So that we have a lot of faded areas that needed rehabilitation. So we're just supplementing this task order to get that work done before winter sets in. Number 31, we have a FAA mandate to maintain 14,000 in-pavement lights, each one of those that have at least 6 volts that we have to torque within specification. We have to do that every 90 days. And this will help us because of our vacancies in the number of electricians we have, will help us to meet that FAA mandated requirement. And then number 32 is ongoing erosion control on our slopes on the airfield.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Yes.
Overstreet, second.
Vote is open.
Westmoreland, yes. Brown, yes.
Okay, great.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. And we have one item on held. This is item number 44, 21-R-3738, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor who designate to enter into an agreement for RFP-S-1210266 landscape maintenance and debris control with Ed Castro Landscape Inc. on behalf of the Department of Aviation to provide landscape and debris control maintenance services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport for a term of 3 years with 2 one-year renewal options in an amount not to exceed $2,988,000.00 for the initial term. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for the purposes.
And this is that one that was on held. Correct, Ms. Polandini?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. It's on
And we're ready to take it now. So
yes.
I think we attached the iProbe, and now we want to file it, or how do we want to?
The department has requested that this item be filed.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make a motion to file. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Theodorus.
No, that's correct. We're requesting this paper be filed.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to file. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Vote is open.
Yep.
Westmoreland, yes.
Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item will be filed, and that concludes our legislative items.
All right. Thank you all. I don't know if there's any other comments or questions from council members or from anyone in the administration.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge I didn't get a chance to I didn't have an opportunity to just speak to Ms. Polandini that's leaving the council office in the CDHS meeting, but I just wanted to personally thank you for your service to council and, just personally working with me and really helping me to understand legislation as a newly elected council member 2 years ago. So thank you so much for being a part of my journey.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Now, I thought you were going to be here till September 10th.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'll be here till September 10th. This is my last committee meeting, though.
Oh, I'm looking at this all along. Yeah, usually by the 10th we would have had another committee meeting, but because of Labor Day and all that. Well, hey, thank you, Mr. Thank you for starting this, Mr. Brown. I was, I didn't look at a calendar, but I know the date that she was leaving, and I thought I'd have another opportunity in this committee to communicate that to her. Well, Ms. Polandini, you've been awesome. You've been such a wonderful, staff member, researcher. You and I communicate multiple times per week. You have always delivered. There's never been a time that you did not meet or exceed my expectations, whether I'm last minute on something or something that's confusing. You always clean it up or clear it up and get it taken care of. I couldn't ask for a better person to lead the Transportation Committee with me for the past 4 years. You are phenomenal, and we will miss you and bid you well as you move forward. And don't forget about us in City Hall here in Atlanta, and continue to be a rock star on to your next endeavors, and leave lots of special notes for whoever the next person is that's going to, bravely and attempt to fill your large shoes. Leave them lots of notes. Tell them that, how to get things done, because you definitely know how to do that. So very appreciative of you, and much success to you in the future, and best wishes.
Second, Mansakite.
Yeah, I see Ms. Overstreet has raised her hand. I see Ide, and then I see, and I think Mansakite by voice wants to say something. So Ms. Overstreet.
Yes, I too thought that we had one more time to see you or speak with you. Ms. Polandini, I just really appreciate you, for the last 4 years. Every time I have to step up and be, co-chair, I love most about you that you made it seem as if nothing that I asked you was remedial or a bad question, and you made me feel like a rock star. So thank you very much for all that you've done for the Transportation Committee and for the City of Atlanta. I really do not know who would dare sit in that seat of yours. So thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and work with you. And good luck in your future endeavors. Keep in contact.
Thank you, I will.
All right, next we have Ms. Ives.
Yes, I'm very sad that you're leaving, and I also say when I was a new council member and had the whether you call it an honor or not of a new person chairing the committee on council in the weird world that is, I really always appreciated you helping me maneuver the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with that committee and keeping everything looking like it's running smoothly when it wasn't always. So we will definitely miss you. I'm sad that you're leaving before we're all back in person. But hope that you'll come back and have lunch with us sometime at City Hall once we all get to be back together again. So best wishes with your new endeavor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember.
Did anyone else want to speak? I don't see any other hands raised, but I think someone's voice spoke. Okay. I know Mr. Masakai said here. Yeah. He seconded that.
Thank you.
Everything that was said.
Mr. Chair, this is Councilmember Matsakite. I did second your eloquent words, and I want to tell Ms. Polandini how much she's meant to us, and thank you so much for all of her efforts, and we wish her the best of luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Mr. Chair, B.B. Adari.
Yes.
I would be remiss if I don't echo our Department of Aviation thanks to Julia for her stewardship and her guidance to us over the years as we move through legislation. We have moved through a lot of legislation. Her involvement with us and her stewardship and overseeing our paper is second to none. So our deepest appreciation and thanks to her, and we are wishing her continued success in her new endeavor. So thank you, Julia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Biodore.
Well, great. Anyone else? So we were in person. We'd have tissue. Tears.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Josh Rowan. I would just like to tell Ms. Polandini that she always has a home at DOT if she'd like to come back one day.
I'll keep that in mind.
All right. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, again, Julia Polandini, we will miss you. And, we'll also, I'm sure more council members will chime in at full council when we get back after Labor Day. But, thank you in advance of that. And, continue to be a rock star even for these last few days. We still got work to do. So thank you again. And to everyone that's joined this call, thank you for tuning in and adding your voice in the public comments, etc. So if there are no other comments by council members, we stand adjourned. Thank you. Take care.